Now let's talk about some difference makers when it comes to SureCart versus WooCommerce. Since previously I was doing a side-by-side comparison that showed a lot of the similarities and a few differences, now I just want to focus on the major differences or the difference makers that may sway your decision between which tool is right for you, which one you should use. The first one that I mentioned previously, and something that you should already know, and if you don't know, this is the time for you to learn. SureCart is a headless plugin and WooCommerce is self-hosted. And let me just show you real quickly what that looks like from a practical standpoint. So right now, I have the plugin SureCart open and the plugin WooCommerce open, and I'm on WordPress. But when it comes to SureCart, now I'm on a whole different platform. Now I'm on the SureCart server. I was on my website before. Now I'm on SureCart, and I'm able to click this hamburger menu here, and I can see what plan I'm on, processors that I'm using, my team, email, invoice, imports, exports, webhooks, API. So just to show you from a bigger view, you can see here, I'm on a whole different platform. If I click this button here, it says log out, manage billing, notifications, lifetime purchases, my profile. I am no longer on WordPress. That is the biggest difference between SureCart and WooCommerce. With WooCommerce, you ain't leaving WordPress. Everything is on WordPress. If that's how you like it, that's how you should keep it. But if you don't mind having some of your e-commerce activities and your data off of WordPress, this is where you may want to think about using SureCart, because it gives you the ability to have a faster website. That is the simplest way to say it. So that is a key difference between SureCart and WooCommerce, or what I call a difference maker. The next difference maker between the two is how they manage their products. So when it comes to SureCart, you are able to add collections to products, which are categories, but with WooCommerce, you can add tags to products that give you an extra layer deeper. So you can add another layer that would show your products based on certain common denominators, right? That it's not necessarily a category or a collection, but there's other common denominators. In WooCommerce, you can add products to multiple categories, but you can also have tags. I think that's a big deal for those who have a certain way they want to stay organized, especially when you get bigger with your store. Same when it comes to reviews. WooCommerce has reviews. I don't see anything when it comes to reviews in that same fashion with SureCart. And reviews are very powerful. Reviews help you sell more products. They are social proof. So that is something also when it comes to the products I would look into. Do you need reviews in this way, or do you want reviews in another way, or do you need reviews at all? Because that could be a maker or breaker of your sales activities. Then when it comes to order bumps and upsells for SureCart, WooCommerce does not have that natively or out the box. And these are powerful, powerful sales tactics to use when it comes to e-commerce. Having order bumps, having upsells, as I've shown you before, WooCommerce has upsells, but not in the same way that SureCart does, because SureCart is doing upsells as funnels. And then with order bumps, it's like you're adding a checkbox right on a checkout form. So if a person does want to say add an extra add-on to their checkout for a certain product, it's an easy checkbox that they just clicked right when they're in the checkout area. You can't do that with WooCommerce. And order bumps really help increase your average order value. So do upsells. Reviews help increase your conversion rates, right? Because a person sees a product, they see the review, and that helps influence them on whether or not they want to buy the product. Whereas with order bumps, a person is getting ready to check out, and now there's other opportunities for you as the vendor, as the merchant, to be able to basically get more money out of them through adding more value to their checkout experience. And that is what order bumps and upsells is all about.
The amount will be $50 million.
$50 million? And who you think you kidnapped, Chelsea Clinton?
Keep him talking. In US currency, nothing bigger than 50.
All right, cool. $50 million, no problem.
I want 20 million in 50.
20 million in 50s.
20 million in 20.
20 million in 20s.
And 10 million in 10.
And 10 million in 10s. You want any fives with that?
So that is a key difference maker between the two, which is how you care about your sales conversions and your average order value, right? Your average order value, how you care about the increase in that between the two. Now, again, I am talking about native WooCommerce, not WooCommerce and the brothers, not WooCommerce and the sisters, not WooCommerce and the family.
I don't have friends, I got family.
What I mean by that is not WooCommerce and extensions and add-ons, WooCommerce out the box. Because I know it's somebody out there like, yo, what are you talking about? You can definitely do the order bumps and the upsells and stuff. You just got to get the plugin and get this thing in. We ain't talking about all that. And that's why I know some of y'all right now probably are thinking I'm crazy.
You're crazy.
You know?
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you. But you're crazy.
And that's okay. Because we all are crazy or a little bit of crazy in some way. But again, that's a key difference maker between the two. How you want to think about your sales conversion and your sales upsell or average order value increase. How you want to think about those. But I'm not saying that WooCommerce does not have the capability of doing upsells. It's just not upsell funnels. It's a whole different concept. And I got confused at first myself, but that's why I'm sharing this with you. Another area where there is a key difference between the two is the orders. So I've already pretty much alluded to this, but I just wanted to highlight it again, just in case you all missed it before. But when it comes to the orders, I'm opening this up so that way you don't get confused and think that there's something wrong with this, because it's not that, it's just, it hasn't been optimized for that screen viewing. When it comes to the orders, you can see I can click here and I can click here. As far as I know, they're the same thing. So if I click here, it goes to the order. And if I click here, it goes to the order, right? Fulfilled, paid, same thing. Now, with SureCart, I'm able to view the customer from right here. And then I can revoke the order. I can cancel, I can return. I can do all those things. But this viewing customer part, to me, that is major. That is a major key difference between the two, where I can see all the information on the customer right here, and I can delete the customer right here. Whereas with WooCommerce, if I go to orders and I look at the order, I see it says ship to, I see it says the order name. So let me click this. Okay, view profile. Is that the customer? No, this is not the experience that I want to see when I'm viewing my customer. That's old WordPress. I don't want that experience. I want something more fresh, more hip, more new. And I don't see that right now. And that's the reason why I wanted to show you that this is a key difference right here. Viewing profile, view other orders. If I click the email address, it just opens up whatever email client you have. So don't let that fool you that you thinking that that's going to open up the customer. It does not. If I click this icon here, it just kind of gives you a quick sneak peek of the order. I don't see anything about the customer. So that's something that I'm not a fan of, is the fact that when it comes to your orders and your customers, this is all you get. You know, this you don't get anything deeper than this. And even though I don't have a name here, I should still be able to click on something that gives me something deeper, and you can't do that. You can download, but you can't look at the customer. That is a key difference maker right there between SureCart and WooCommerce. Now let's get into some other major things between the two that is real different. Licensing. For those of you all who want to add licenses to your checkout, to your e-commerce experience, you can't do that with WooCommerce natively. You need a third-party plugin or add-on. With SureCart, a unique value proposition is that comes right out the box. It is native. You do not need anything else to add licenses to your products. And as I showed you before, if I go into products and I scroll down, you can see enable license creation, where I can add an activation limit, and then I can add current release. This is pretty sweet right here to be able to add licensing, and you would add your download right here, like how they would get their stuff. Zip, this is the current release zip of your software. You do not get that with WooCommerce, so that's key. Another thing, subscriptions. WooCommerce has Woo subscriptions, which is a plugin. SureCart just has subscriptions natively right here. And what I like about this subscriptions area here is this gives you more analytics and more information than the analytics from the dashboard. But it gives you more things about your subscription, which is really, really cool. Again, you do not get that with WooCommerce out the box. So that is key. If you are looking to consolidate your WordPress plugin usage, you ain't doing that with WooCommerce. So you might as well not even think about consolidation when it comes to WooCommerce. You feel me? I'm just letting y'all know. I'm just letting y'all know because today I got time.
Today I got time, cuz.
But you got to think about it that way. If you are using WooCommerce, why are you even thinking about consolidation as a big part of your strategy? That is not the right way of thinking with WooCommerce. You might as well use something else, because with WooCommerce, you do need other plugins to create functionality, which means you aren't consolidating anymore at that point. So it's just something for you to think about. Then we have affiliates. So WooCommerce, once again, does not have affiliates out the box. You need an extension for that. SureCart does. We have licensing or licenses, subscriptions, and affiliates. And you will not see that anywhere in the area of WooCommerce. That is a huge difference between the two. And let me just show you real quick, since I went over the fact that you get licenses, subscriptions, and affiliates with SureCart. With WooCommerce, this is where you get all of your add-ons or extensions. So you see WooCommerce subscriptions right there in your face.
Not bad. You're nailing it.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
God damn it, I don't know what it is about your face, but I want to deliver one of these right in your suck hole.
Is there anything I can do to work on that?
No, not really. It's your face.
If you received any value out of this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. All right, now let's get back to it. You can look at all of these and see if you want to add on directly from here, or you can go to the WordPress repo or the plugin directory, get a plugin, and you can add it from here. WooCommerce shipping, Google Analytics for WooCommerce, Woo Payments, Stripe. I mean, the list goes on, the list goes on. But that's why I have said, and I will continue to say, I believe WooCommerce was meant to be a one-size-fits-all. SureCart is meant to be an all-in-one. We have a one-size-fits-all or a one-for-all, and SureCart is an all-for-one. WooCommerce, one for all, SureCart, all for one. I'm going to keep hitting that in the head. I'm going to keep trying to get that in your brain so you can understand that that's the difference between the two, is the way that they have their unique value proposition and even their business model. Now let's quickly look at their blocks. So I'm going to go to add new page, and I'm going to open up the block inserter on both. With SureCart, you can see right out the box, here are the blocks. So we have a few blocks here. We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 blocks here for SureCart that we can see without adding anything else. With WooCommerce, let me scroll down. We seem to have a lot more. So with WooCommerce, I'm not going to add all these blocks up, but you can see there are a lot of blocks. And then we have WooCommerce product element. So WooCommerce is definitely ahead of the game when it comes to their blocks versus SureCart. But it does not mean that SureCart is not catching up, and it does not mean that SureCart's blocks are any less than WooCommerce's blocks. This is not about quality. I'm just referring to quantity in this scenario. If you want more blocks for whatever reason, that when it comes to your e-commerce possibilities and customization on your page, on the page itself, you may want to go to WooCommerce. If that doesn't matter to you, then hey, SureCart is still a great tool for you. So that is a key thing that I want you all to see, is the blocks between the two. I've mentioned this before, but I'll touch on this again. When it comes to the customers, the export feature in WooCommerce, you get, but you don't get that from the customers area in SureCart. There's no export here. You get that from the settings area, data export, and then you can export customers here. In order to export more than your customers, to do like an all size fits one, to do customers, orders, and I think it was one more, I can't think of it off the top of my head, you gotta have a plugin. Like you need a plugin in order to download multiple layers at one time. But for now, you can just use the customers here to download the information. So that is a key difference. What I love about SureCart from a data export standpoint is even though it's a headless plugin and they are hosting your data, they are very clear on allowing you to export your data at any time. I think that that was a necessary route to go, because for those who are a little bit scared or fearful of something happening to a company that has all their data, and now you have nothing once something happens to that company, that is a real fear to have, because it happens. So that's why you definitely want to have the ability to export your data. Whereas WooCommerce, it's not the same thing. You control your backups. If WooCommerce goes down, you have nobody to blame except for yourself or your hosting provider or your agency, or your freelancer, whoever it is that you're working with, your store manager. But the key is that you don't have another platform to blame. You have to blame people that you're working with directly. SureCart, you can look at the platform and hold them responsible because they're the one who is control of your data. So that's a key difference between the two. If you don't mind that, I would use SureCart. If you mind that, I would use WooCommerce. So be careful with that. What I like about WooCommerce is that it has deep analytics. Now, there are other platforms, other e-commerce platforms that have deeper analytics, but out the box right here, in comparison to SureCart, it definitely has a lot of analytics that I think that you would want to see. So we have our performance analytics here. I also do like, now they are a little outdated, but I care more about the functionality than the form right now. SureCart is more about form versus functionality, and WooCommerce is more about functionality than form. Now, it does not mean that they're not about both. Somebody's going to be like, no, they can do this and they can do that. That's not what I mean. Maybe y'all don't understand the concept of form versus functionality if you don't understand why I'm comparing the two. But there was a movie I had watched, and it reminded me of that. It was called Air, and it was just talking about Jordan's shoe. And they had to choose whether or not they cared more about the form for Jordan's shoe. Michael Jordan, the basketball player, they had to come to an agreement on whether or not it was more important to care about the form of the shoe, meaning what it looked like, or the function of the shoe, how it performed.
And be the most beautiful shoe known to mankind.
Yes.
Form or function? Something can be beautiful or it can be practical, rarely both.
Come up with something new.
Even though we all want both, but when we're thinking about products, it always leans to one or the other more, at least when you start off with. And in my opinion, I believe SureCart started more off with form and WooCommerce started more with function. But when it comes to analytics, you're able to see so much. I'm not going to go over every single bit, but as you can see, as I'm clicking on these different sub-menu items, I'm seeing analytics for pretty much everything I would want to see analytics for in my WooCommerce dashboard. Not everything, but pretty much everything I would want to see. And then you even get settings for your analytics too. And you do not see that in SureCart. And I believe that that is coming. I'm very sure that's coming. I'm very sure they're aware of that. But these are the key things that I want you to see that are some major differences between the two. And the last part is going to be the settings. So while I'm here, let's talk about the settings. Let's just go over the settings one more time. So let's go over the settings here. Boom. Because that's the settings for analytics. And that's another thing too. You don't want to get confused because SureCart has one settings. WooCommerce, as you just saw, it has multiple settings. So you just don't want to get confused. For the SureCart settings, I can tell you the key differences. We'll go with design and branding. You won't find that here in WooCommerce. Order receipts. You can see your order receipts right here. Even your upsell behavior. Abandoned checkout. You won't find that in WooCommerce without another plugin. And speaking of, a lot of the things you see here are because of the consolidation that SureCart has. So what that means is that a lot of these settings would be settings that you would see in other plugins that are integrated with WooCommerce. So that's why you see a lot of stuff here that you don't see in WooCommerce. So abandoned cart is another one. WooCommerce does not have abandoned cart out the box. I've already showed you notifications. That's what WooCommerce calls emails. Subscriptions. You can't do subscriptions with WooCommerce out the box. You need a plugin for that. Subscription saver. So that goes with subscriptions. Affiliates, same thing. You can't do affiliates with WooCommerce out the box. Taxes, you can do taxes. Nope, take that back. No, you can't. Not the way that SureCart has integrated taxes. And I will tell you, for those who are shipping and doing physical products or have to do some type of tax, even with the digital products, this is gold. Because when I first got into e-commerce and I had to think about the whole taxing scenario, I didn't know how expensive it was. And there weren't many plugins or tools out there that does automated taxes. To do manual taxes is a lot of work. There was no tools that I can find that did automated taxes that were cheap. Well, lo and behold, the one that I found that did automated taxes that was expensive as all heck, SureCart ended up integrating with, and they give that to you for free. So all you gotta do is click tax collection, tax included, put your address here, and add your information, your region, and click save. They eat the cost for you. Where if you're using this other tax plugin that I found, it's one of the biggest ones, it's expensive, it's gonna cost you some bread. So that's something to think about, that SureCart just gives you that out the box. Whereas in order for you to get that same automated taxes with WooCommerce, you gotta install Jetpack. And that's a whole nother video and a whole nother topic that I don't think y'all want that yet. But y'all let me know if y'all want that.
Is this what you want?
Y'all let me know if y'all want that. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother topic. But that's something that I definitely want you to know, that SureCart has automated taxes out the box right here. We went over shipping, we went over payment processors, I just went over data export. That is the major difference, is that, hey, you get to export all your data right here. And then connection, you won't find connections with WooCommerce because this connection is all about you connecting with the actual platform right here. So as you can see, I have API. Good, it's not showing my tokens. So you would have your API token here and you would connect that here. So that way the plugin from your WordPress website is connected with the server of SureCart. You want them to connect. They connect right here. Connection to this API token right here. And they even have webhooks. And then for advanced, this is the last part that I would say that is a great feature. It's not for everybody, but it is for a lot. To get a little more speed out of SureCart, which is already fast out the box, you would click this button here, performance, and click save, and now you got a little bit more speed. You have spam protection and security as well. So right now, Honeypot is open out the box, but you can add reCAPTCHA version 3 and strong password validation. You don't get that with WooCommerce. And then with the admin appearance, you can change them so you can choose to show or hide this in the menu. So they just make it easier for you, basically. As I mentioned, you can get to these pages from the single pages from other areas in WordPress, but if you wanted to see them right here, I like that you can just check them on and check them off. And as I mentioned before, the cart page, you can check on the cart page, check it off. Then we have legacy features, customer syncing, and a couple other things. These are the major differences. Now, when it comes to SureCart, that's the major differences. WooCommerce, let's start with accounts and privacy. So with accounts and privacy, you have guest checkout, you have account creation, requests, personal data removal. And then when it comes to integrations, you can integrate with MaxMind right here. So it doesn't really have many integrations, but that is a key difference. But right here though, I have used this for WooCommerce. Most people don't want to touch this. I only touch this when I'm working with a developer because I'm not a developer. But when I'm working with my developer, touching this is different. Because if you touch this, this is where you can mess things up. Do not touch this unless you know what you're doing, or you will mess up your WooCommerce connections. You'll mess things up where things are pointed to. So don't touch this. Be like Hammer. Can't touch this.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 can't touch this.
Be like that when it comes to this area. And then we have our endpoints here. So we have our checkout endpoints and we have our account endpoints. I would not touch those if I were you, unless you know what you're doing and you want to add more customization to your WooCommerce experience. That's the only time you want to touch them endpoints, is when you're looking to add more customization to your WooCommerce experience that you do not have out the box. Otherwise, don't touch it. I also like this force secure checkout right here. At the same time, a lot of hosting will do this for you, so you don't have to have this checked, but it's just a great double down as well. Then we have our REST API. They both have webhooks. Legacy API, most of the people ain't really gonna be using that. Features though, we have features and WooCommerce analytics. It's up to you. And then right here, this is where I check the box to add the new UI for the product page, right? For the product creation, was checking this right here. And then you would click save. So that is the key differences between SureCart and WooCommerce. Hopefully that gives you way more detailed information than my first video on the differences and similarities between the two plugins. That is my goal, is I just want to get your brain thinking, okay, now I see a side-by-side comparison between both platforms, and this is where they are right now. Which one is best suited for you? Right? Now I'm pretending I'm you. I'm saying best suited for me. If I were you, I would be thinking which is best suited for me based on my needs and also based on the functionalities, the unique value proposition that each platform brings. Because if the unique value proposition matches your needs, well, then you got a match made in heaven, baby. It's right there for you. But if you have a unique value proposition from a platform, a transactional e-commerce platform that you're using that does not match your needs, well, now you have a conflict. And you got to rethink about that. And a lot of people have not seen both of these platforms side by side, looking at feature for feature and also describing what features are very similar or the same, but they're just called different things or they're found in different areas. So don't let that deter you because something is called something different or it's found in a different area. What you should be thinking about is, does this tool have this feature or not? And is it gonna have this feature? And do I need this feature right now? Those are the things that you should be thinking about when it comes to SureCart versus WooCommerce or WooCommerce versus SureCart, because they're both great options. I rock with them both. I really do. For my business needs and for my own personal needs, SureCart does mostly what I need. But I have to keep it real. And I gotta realize the fact that it's not meant for everybody. Some people rather have ownership of their data, right? And I love that. Some people rather have ownership of their data. I also love that some people rather have more complexity. And the reason why you would want more complexity is because with complexity comes flexibility and vice versa. With flexibility comes complexity. So the more complex something usually is, the more nuances that are around it, the more things that are juggling or circling, the more things you can do. And that's something that, because WooCommerce is open source, it gives it different brain power and thought process. That could be good, that could be bad. Who knows, but it does. So these are just things to think about when it comes to the difference between the two. And I like WooCommerce because they have been updating, and I like the fact that there are a lot of developers that work with it. So if you're looking to partner or work with or use other developers or other tools, WooCommerce works with those pretty well. With SureCart, you have to use its companion or its brother or sister plugins like SureTriggers or SureMembers, right? But mainly SureTriggers to be specific, because SureTriggers gives you the opportunity to integrate with other platforms. So SureCart and SureTriggers are made by the same company. That's why the word sure surely should make some sense to you. But SureTriggers is more like a Zapier of WordPress, or Uncanny Automator. If you are used to WordPress and you know these plugins, it's an integration plugin. And when you combine that with SureCart, you get really powerful opportunities and options. But again, WooCommerce is just as powerful because it can integrate with damn near everything. you've added integration plugin to it, or other things integrated with it natively. Hopefully this video has been of some substance for you, some value for you. I dove deep because I felt like this is well overdue. And I was looking on YouTube and I'm like, man, I haven't really seen nobody do a video like this yet, while giving my own anecdotal experiences and showing you some factual and logical information. I wanted to combine all of that into one to show you, like, listen, I rock with them both, but for different reasons, and you gotta be careful before you go too deep into one and you don't know that the other one may be what you need more than anything because of the value proposition that it holds, and it fits your needs from that value proposition and not just some of the things you see on the surface level and you're like, oh, the other thing don't have that. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.